let me know when you're ready.
We're ready, whatever. Do we need to wait till 4 or?
Usually,
It's
it's
4.
4 o'clock now.
All right,
so-
all right, it's 4 o'clock. We're gonna bring the agenda, the Committee on Development and Planning to order. The records show that all committee members are present. We have minutes for August 2nd and August 23rd. Vice Chair Brown.
Make a motion to approve minutes as is.
We have a proper motion to approve the minutes of August 2nd and August 23rd. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those minutes have been approved. Thank you, Renee. The first thing on the agenda, we have public comment. If anybody here would like to public comment who's not on the agenda, this is your opportunity to make public comment. All right, there are no folks here to make public comments, so we will move on. First item for discussion is a resolution of the appointment of Tracy Reel, City of Lansing member, Local Development Finance Authority Board, term to expire June 30th, 2027. Thank you, Tracy, for being here, and thank you for your desire to serve. So, you know, I've read it, and generally what we do is just ask you some questions
Okay.
and then move forward. So I've read your resume. Does anybody have any questions on Ms. Reel?
So I guess I do. I appreciate your willingness to serve, and I see that you are affiliated with a couple small businesses and nonprofits. Now, in here, when you said that you're interested in growing the business opportunities in the Lansing area and tech jobs are usually secure, are you looking at starting up another business, or are you just
No.
trying to? Okay.
No, so I do have 2 small businesses here in Lansing, just around the corner on Cedar Street, just south of the border, Water and Light. And one of those is I manage associations and nonprofits.
Mhm.
And 2 of my clients I happen to be in the insurance area. And a lot of people think of insurance as a math-based or a customer service-based position, but actually they're actually just really large tech companies.
Yeah,
And
my
so there's
son
some really-
writes code for auto owners, so.
Yeah, and if he started there, he'll probably try to get stolen by the other ones because they just steal from each other.
Yeah.
But we do need more tech jobs, and so not just in insurance, but anything that helps develop Michigan and the greater Lansing area as a technology hub benefits a lot of businesses. And
Yeah.
so because we have such a strong insurance industry in our state, that's one of the areas that I've been involved and would like to see more, encouraging more young people to go into tech, but also exploring what jobs they may not think of that have technology behind them and what type of businesses could be developed based on that.
Nice. Okay. Now, do you anticipate? I mean, since with COVID hit, a lot of people are working remotely. Do you anticipate these tech jobs being at the office? And
I think it's important to have people interacting together. I mean,
I do too.
I really encourage, as I have 8 boards that I manage, and I really encourage them to meet in person. You connect a different way, and I think that's one of the challenges with young people is they sometimes have trouble communicating because they're so used to only communicating over a device or over Zoom. And no offense, but I see it with my own children, and so I think it's really important that we just engage differently. It's when I find out that someone has a birthday a week from mine, or to find out that they have we're seeing Kringle. You don't get time to talk about that over
Right.
Zoom. And in order, conflict inevitably happens when you're in business and working with people, and the best way to do that is to know some background information about them so that you have a rapport built, and you can't do that when you're always remote. So it's a long-winded answer, but yes.
yeah, but no, I appreciate that answer, and I agree with you as well. So, and my final question
Oh, no, please.
is just so if you get appointed to this board, would you be willing to go to some of the constituent contact meetings that the council people have to maybe share information about what's
Sure.
going on?
Yep.
Great. Thank you.
You okay? Well, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Right, we have a proper motion to approve this resolution. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so this goes to the full council on Monday. Is it Monday, really?
The 11th, yeah.
Okay. on Monday. I will be there. I'll be gone the next day, but I will be there. And then, so if you can be there, council starts at 7. If you can't be there, then just the next day, go to the clerk's office and be signed in by the
I
clerk.
don't see any reason at the moment that I can.
Awesome. Well,
So,
thank you again for your willingness to
Thank you.
serve. I appreciate it.
I am gonna scoot because I am the person who has the birthday near her. So thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
My birthday present today.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. We'll wait for Chris.
I thought he was coming. I mean, she had him on the agenda.
Okay, so, I don't know, I mean, we introduced it, the neighborhood enterprise zone last week. Did we have a public hearing? Was that the public hearing or no?
Yes.
It was public hearing, thank you. But so what came out of it was just a couple edits, but they're not substantive, so
Yeah,
I think.
I can speak to those.
Please do.
I actually did that edit. I had a meeting, there was a follow-up meeting with the assessor, Sharon Frischman, Sherry Boak, and myself to go through the process generally. And then we were looking at specifically older, the most recent batch of approved NEZ zone and then certificates within the zone, which is, I think it was West Village. No, East Village. And in the course of that, we were looking at the draft ordinance, and both of them, I disagree, being the lawyer, I think the language is just fine. But they said it would sure help and clarify that we were talking about all the zones together when we were figuring out what the acreage is. So we added the word, I think, combined,
I don't,
total
It went from the
acreage,
neighborhood enterprise to all.
and then to all, and then the word
the
Combined.
total combined.
Yeah.
Yep, so that it's really, really clear that we are looking at all the zones together, and I'm fine with that.
Fine, but not necessary, but whatever. But
Well,
whatever.
they made the point that not everybody is a lawyer who's going to read this, and I think part of the reason we got into a position where we were way past the 1% is people were looking at each individual zone
Ah.
as being not exceeding 1% of the total acreage as opposed to all the zones
All the zones in the
combined.
city. Yeah.
So I relented and said, fine, I will add those words. And we ran it through at staff meeting at our office, and everybody said, yeah, that's fine. So if the committee is willing to accept that and pass it out, then it doesn't require a new hearing or anything. It's
Yeah, that's fine.
really just clarification. It doesn't
Yeah.
even change that header paragraph.
Doesn't change the intent.
Correct.
As far as I'm concerned.
Yep, no, I agree.
So otherwise,
What do
that's
you
it.
think about it?
Well, that answers my question to how, when I was talking to Lisa on one of the meetings about how did, 1% versus 15. So that would make sense if it was interpreted differently.
Yeah. All right, well, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
We have a motion to approve the language and pass it on to council for final approval. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, it'll be up for final approval on Monday, right? Awesome. All right, real quick, so we have, again, budget priorities for fiscal year 2024-25. You can see on here, these are the current budget priorities. And I think, so when is this due? When do we have to have these done?
They're due the administration by October 1st.
So when, do we have one more DNP before, is my
I
question.
don't believe so.
We do.
No, because
Oh,
the
yeah.
last one is
We have to
18.
do it we have to have it to council by the 18th, right?
Yes, yeah, and
Okay.
the next one is the 20th.
Okay.
So,
All right, so as we look at these budget priorities, I don't know if we did the focus on small business, minority business, female-owned business. Yes, ma'am?
If it's helpful, I did some research.
All right,
and
go
some
ahead, please.
Notes on it. So, the Financial Empowerment Center is not currently doing the focus on small business, minorities, businesses, and female-owned businesses as of now. I talked about, what it would look like, and there are currently 4 budgeted positions in OFE, but the only one staffed is Amber Paxton, who's the director at the moment.
I'm sorry, she's the only one in
So
that.
we're not doing service, oh, I'm sorry.
So she's the only one in the
OFE. So-
Financial Empowerment Center right now?
From the city. So Zach Edson, who was the operations coordinator, just left earlier this summer. So I know they are actively interviewing for that position, as well as their 2 grants administrator positions. But as of last week when I talked to her, all 3 of those positions were currently vacant. And then, so she said that although, you know, she is happy to keep it on the budget priorities and is really excited about it, she seemed a little skeptical of capacity over there at the moment.
Well, they don't have any capacity, so I don't know why she's skeptical of capacity. They don't have any.
Yeah.
So if they have 3,
3 budgeted positions
yeah.
vacant.
So if they have
She said 4, right?
3, so 4 total, but Amber is in hers, so 3
Amber
are
is the
vacant. Yeah.
So here's my thought about it. Is this was also part of DEI. When we were looking at this, and one of the things that council really wanted was someone in the financial empowerment department to focus on assisting small business and minority business and female-owned businesses. They thought that was important to bring in a more diverse community and more diverse businesses into the city of Lansing. And so I would like to keep that on there, and maybe we and as part of the justification is part of, the city of Lansing's DEI outreach is to encourage, more female-owned and minority businesses in the city. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Why don't we put that on the DEI versus this then? And then also, if they're not even open for business and they're not helping anybody.
Well, they are, and they still they're still working with Krista Ray and their financial counselors and things like that are contracted out. So, I mean, they are still doing work, but they are actively hiring for those 3 positions. So obviously they're not working at capacity.
Didn't we
without-
give them more money to expand last year on top of this? But my thing is, if you want to do this, it sounds like it's more economic development, so why would that be in the financial empowerment office versus LEDC or something like that?
We could do it. We could do it in LE because we didn't have LEDC back when this was doing.
Yeah.
So we could take this out and say we'd like money in LEDC towards supporting. So let's take it.
Because I know LEAP's doing that work right now too, but now that we have LEDC, I agree with you.
So can we just say 80,000 for one LEDC employee to focus on instead of financial empowerment employee? All right, awesome. Reactivation of the facade improvement grant program.
So that one, there's budgeted for $175,000 for the FY24 budget. I know last year the budget priority said $215,000. So
What was the budget last year for that? Do you know?
It was, I think, I can double check and confirm, but from memory, I think it's the same.
It was the same, so they didn't increase it?
Yes, but that's just from memory, so
No,
I'll
no, it's
follow
okay.
up and send an email confirming what the budget was last year after this meeting.
Yeah, I want to say it was increased. I want to say the prior year was like 150 or something like that, and they increased it, but I could be wrong.
So, okay.
can try to
So
look
do
it
we
up right
want to, I mean, if it was increased in the budget, do we want to keep this? Or do we want to just take it out because there was dollars increased?
My thought is, I would do like 250 because I noticed we are building up our city that way. So from what I understand from this program, if we give them any money, they have to put money in. So it's kind of expanding, like it's like
Matching.
So it's like, guaranteed. and
Incentive
then-
for them to clean up their
Clean up their
Yeah.
street, yeah.
So it
So,
seems like it's been working, so I don't,
so now was the facade improvement grant program, was that just for downtown or was that?
No, it's for
No,
citywide,
it's
but
citywide.
I'd like to see though, to make sure it's equitable across city, boundaries that,
Breakdown.
breakdown of what wards are getting impacted the most by it, and then maybe that will let us know who we need to engage
Yeah.
more to make sure
Yeah.
that they're getting their
Yeah,
grants.
I agree.
I like that, Jeremy.
I agree, that's.
So like last year, if we did make it simple numbers.
Well, that was number 3, look at number 3.
Right, and as far as I know, that hasn't happened yet.
And so when you're saying that, that's what we wanted because that's been our our concern all along is the distribution of those dollars. And so we asked for an analysis of the facade improvement grant program. Who's doing that right now? Is it LEDC? Who's administering that grant?
Yep, it's
LEDC? So I think we continue to ask LEDC to provide us. So can we put in here $50,000 analysis of facade improvement grant program to include return on equity no later than like September 1? Can we put a deadline? I mean, no later than August 1st of next year or first quarter or something, so that it's in our budget priorities that we would like that report returned back to council.
Yeah, I'd say definitely before we start doing budget
Well, then let's do
discussions.
March 30th. What's the first quarter? January, February, March. So March 31st, by no later than March 31st?
Yeah, or
when do
honestly,
we
ideally
get the
before that,
budget?
because we get the budget in March, that last
Okay.
Monday.
How about February, the end of February?
Yeah.
Because I agree with you. I'd like to see what the distribution has been. Okay.
I've got one add to this, but I mean, we can go through
Okay,
all four.
so so number 3, we want to include the return on equity and also what he talked about, the distribution of the grants per ward. So add that language to number 3, which is, a report on the awarding of the grants by ward.
Okay.
Okay, included in that report. Okay, how did number 4 go? I thought we did that. The facilities, completion of community facilities plan?
I don't know.
I don't recall if that went forward or not. We haven't heard it.
I haven't seen it, but I can.
I thought we did, well, I don't know. I don't know if it's been done. Who would be doing that? This would be
I would say the chief strategist.
Yeah,
Probably.
But the issue with that is, if it's not specifically, is that part of their chief strategy officer? Remember, we just did a whole amendment of what their duties were, and I don't know if this was.
I don't think this specifically was laid out in that, but I think that this, we can make an argument that this would fall under the more broad terms that was laid out in that.
I still think we need it.
I agree.
Okay, well, if I may, I got
Please.
something. Okay, I'd like to add something that we've had in the past through HRCS, and I know that we had this discussion down at the well. I think Price Doverding may have brought it up about making sure that we have somebody out there checking to see if they're collecting income tax. If because there's a lot of contractors that are misclassifying workers as independent contractors, and then the city doesn't end
Is
up
that
getting
HRCS that does that?
It used to be, I'm pretty sure it was Guillermo Lopez, and that was his job, and I'm not sure if, he actively did the job or not, but I think that's what one of his roles were in HRCS, is to make sure that contractors are paying the right income tax to.
So can I think that's a fantastic idea, but can I expand on that? We need somebody in the city, and whether it's at ED&P or whatever, that are making sure that people are complying with the development agreements and the
Current
pilots.
code. Oh, okay, yeah, that too, yeah.
So, because I was at a conference, and this woman has a business that she contracts with local governments to make sure people are in compliance with their incentives, and so, I think that we need to have somebody out there making sure that, when we give these TIFs or we give these,
Brownfields
or whatever, yeah, that people are actually in compliance. So that could include income tax as well. I mean, it's all encompassing, but I don't know what you call that. You would call that what, incentives,
Yeah, I'm not sure.
compliant? I don't know.
But I know that there's some work to try to figure out what's going on with that Stadium North project right now, because they have a lot of the plumbing that missed walls, and and that was all brownfield property, so they have a
Yeah.
vapor barrier. If they're missing walls and having to tear up concrete,
And they're
who's making
gonna
sure
be-
they're not damaging
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. So, I think this is a great idea. Just trying to flesh it out. So, what you want to, 80,000, 100,000?
I'm not sure. I mean, maybe that's something you can look up, Emily, to see
Definitely.
what the previous person got paid.
So, what we would like to have is an employee, and I don't, designated to check on compliance with various city incentives, including including but not limited to income tax, pilots, TIFs,
Brownfields.
yeah, brownfields. I think that's great. I like that.
And also, I did just look at the budget from last year, and for the facade improvement grant, it actually decreased for FY '24. It was 200,000 in FY '23, and is 175,000 this year.
Well, let's put it back to 250, shall we?
Yep.
And increase, and just increase, well, so we can just say increase facade improvement grant program to 250.
Okay.
So we can, so the employee designated check on compliance, or return on investment, I don't care what it, but I'm trying to figure, I think it's just compliance with various, yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. Do you care where that ends up being housed, if created, HSS, EDP?
Yeah, I
No,
don't
It's
care.
not really, wherever we can find the money if we can, okay, cool.
If I had my druthers, I'd eliminate Willard Walker's position and make somebody that position,
A few of them I would too.
but I'm not gonna go there, so.
Well, that's all I have.
Mr. Brown, Mr. Brown, Mr. Brown, do you have one?
Sounds good.
All right, and with that, we're adjourned. We're out.
So 422.